eaten like this before on a short film. But he had a great time doing it. So we shoot it. They send it out to, they get posts and everything done. They send it out to festivals all over the country. And it ends up getting in South by Southwest. It did not get into Sundance, which we were all surprised. But then my daughter calls me one day and she says, hey, you're not going to believe the festival we got into. And I'm like, what? She said, we got into the Cannes Festival in France. I'm like, what? She said, yes, we got into Cannes. She said, we were the only American film out of 10,000 entries to get into the festival. I'm like, Kara, shut the door. There's no way. And she said, nope. So we all went to France. It was an incredible experience. You got to walk the red carpet and all that kind of stuff. And every other filmmaker that was there in the short film category, they were all so wonderful. They were such a lovely group of people, all very supportive. You had Japan, you had Iran, you had Germany. I mean, it was, all over the world, these films. And theirs was the only American film in there. And they won, the film won a couple of awards, but they didn't win, like the top award. But just going to France and saying I was in the Cannes Festival was incredible. So we're mulling along. They go to a few more festivals and do really well. And then my daughter calls me, and I knew the Oscars were coming up, but I wasn't even going there, not even thinking about it. So she calls up and she says, okay, I don't want to get you excited. Just want to let you know we're like on the top 50 list for the Oscars. And I was like, well, that's unbelievable. I was like, that's so cool. This is incredible. I said, Kara, this little bitty film that you shot with nothing has done so incredible. And at this point, even UCLA had called them, and they now use it as a film that they teach in their film class of how to make a short film. And I was like, geez, yeah. Incredible. So then things go along, and then, they keep getting narrowed down more and more and more. And then she calls one morning, and she's all excited. And she says, oh, my God, Mom. She said, we're on the short list of the Oscars. I said, Kara, there is no friggin' way. You have got to be kidding me. This little film that we shot in Houston, Texas, in a parking lot is now in the top 10 race for the Oscars. So the morning of where you find out if you're the top 5, they didn't get in. It didn't make it. So we were, of course, and we were trying to, in fact, I was there in LA the morning that we found out if we got in or not. So we were all trying to put on brave faces and stuff. And they even had, oh my gosh, what's his name? One of the writers for Variety, anyway, had pinned Caroline to pick as the winner. So, but we didn't want to get, we didn't want to jinx ourselves or anything like that, whatever. But they didn't get into the top 5. But still, today I turn around and say, my God, we were in the top 10 of the Oscars, at the contender of the Oscars. That's incredible with a little bitty short film. So it was a wonderful ride. I mean, we just had the best time going to the festivals and then Cannes and then with the Oscar thing. So I would highly recommend it for anybody.
Congratulations. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. My daughter's a wonderful producer. She's doing really well. So.
Your father wasn't too supportive of you wanting to go into the arts. Now you're a mother. How does that play out with your children?
Well, I have 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl. My daughter is the youngest, and my sons my middle son did theater in high school, but he never took it past that, and the other 2 did not. They didn't do anything in the arts. So when my daughter turned around and, God, you hate being like one of those stage moms, but when she was 3 years old, I was in a commercial, and it was a Japan company, and they remember the little GoBots.
Yeah.
What did they call the guys? Yeah, the game. Rock'em Sock'em. Yes. Mm-hmm. So they had life-size Rock'em Sock'em, and that was the commercial, and they had them in a real boxing ring. Wow. So I was like the announcer for the boxing ring. Well, I brought her to set with me that day because they needed kids around it. So I took my middle son and her to it. And it was the weirdest thing when they called action. I'd look at her and I say, "No, this is what you have to do when they call action." And she got so into that. My son was like, rock and sock, I'm okay. But she was like 3, and she just went crazy, and she just did, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then as she got older, they do this thing called Odyssey of the Mind. And it's a competition thing. And it's not in Texas, it's all over the country. And they write, produce, and direct their own shows. And her show, the show that they did, that she was in, it was the very first time we went to see it. My husband and I were walking down the hallway of the school, and I could hear this voice, like at the very end of the hallway. And I'm like, that sounds like Kara. Well, the teacher meets us like halfway down the hall, and I said, "Is that Kara's voice I hear?" She says, "Yeah." Well, she gets so into it, we had to put her outside of the door because she gets too into it. So from then on, I knew that she had that bug, and she did. I mean, she went to acting camp every year. She did it all through high school, and then what was really wonderful is that her and I ended up at NYU at the same time. So when she got a scholarship to NYU too. So when she was working on her, her BA, I guess is what she ended up getting, her BA, I was working my master's. So we actually lived together in New York in the same apartment.
That's great.
So, So, and then she loves acting too. She has a passion for it like I do. And I always encouraged her. There were days when I'd have really rough days in the arts that I would say, I'd kind of look at her and say, God, is this really what you want to do? But then I would always detract it because I'm certainly not going to stomp on her dreams and her passions by any stretch of the imagination. I would never want that for anybody. And I knew she had the drive. I knew she had the talent too. But she was just kind of like I was. She loves acting. That's where her heart is. But she found she loved it just as much on the production side of it than she did the acting side. So she can go both ways, just like I did. So she ended up producing. She ended up working for 3 years. She ended up working for William H. Macy as his assistant, and learned a tremendous amount. She moved to LA. She did what I didn't do. She went to LA, stayed out there, and learned a tremendous amount from him. And we had dinner with him one night, and he's a lovely man. He's a very, very genuinely nice man. But and then she went out on her own, and now she's independent, and she works all the time. So, but there's days she'll call me and she'll say, Mom, should I just come home? Should I just, get out of LA and come back to Texas? And I'm like, this is something you've always wanted to do. This is something you've always dreamed of. Stick it out. You gotta, don't ever have any regrets. And I never regretted coming back to Texas. I really didn't, because my family was my priority. She doesn't have any children. She has dogs. Those are your babies. So she can do it. So she's pursuing it and doing really well. So I'm proud of her.
That's a lot. So do you think we all have an artist inside of us?
Oh my gosh, yes. Of course. And even those ones, to me, it's always a challenge. The ones that say, "Oh, I have, there's nothing artistic about me. I don't. Oh my God, no." Everybody has a wonderfully creative side. Yeah, you've definitely got those left brain people that are the tactic side of it. And sometimes I wish I was the tactic side of it, especially when it comes to numbers and finances and all that kind of stuff. But yes, and I love more than anything to grab those people and get them into a situation to where I can pull that stuff out of them, and then step back and say, "Oh my God, I had no clue I had that in me. That's unbelievable." I just finished. I work for a repertory theater here in town, and I work with high school and college kids, and we just finished our class 2 nights ago, and I had a girl in there. It's in high school, and the very first time she got up to do anything, she burst into tears. I'm just boo-hooing. And I'm like, what in the world? And come to find out, she saw a Shakespeare play and fell in love with it. She said, I loved the language, and I loved how, they moved on stage. And I said, that's so rare that you would see your very first play would be a Shakespeare play and you would fall in love with it. I said, that shows it was done correctly. But she said, I thought it would be so easy. She said, oh my gosh, it's so hard. But as the semester progressed on, she had never really learned how to play. She had never really learned how to have fun. So every time she would have to get up, all the kids in the class, we would all help her to play, just let it go, step outside the box. And we were in a black box. But step outside of your comfort zone and just take chances. And she, every time she would get up on the stage, she would just go a little bit further and a little bit further. And when she did her monologue the other night, she was incredible. She has so much natural talent. And, and I told her after the show was over, I was like, did you even have any idea you had this in you? And she was like, this was so much fun. She said, I had no idea it was going to be this much fun, because, of course, her whole family was coming up afterwards and saying, I didn't know you could do this. That was so cool. And she was just on cloud nine. So, yeah, everybody has it. And we use the arts in everything we do. It doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a salesman, whether you're a marketing director. I mean, that's what always amazes me when people say, oh, I can't act. No, you act every day. I mean, how many masks do you wear throughout the day? You have your husband mask. You have when you go to your job every day, you have that mask. When you, when you meet with your friends, you have a mask. We all have various masks that we wear throughout the day. So no, don't even give me that. No, I can't act, because we act all day long.
Life is but a stage.
That's exactly right. And we're all merely players.
I almost forgot about that. You have an acting program that you're starting. What is the goal for the program?
The goal is to take beginning or middle or even advanced actors and to teach them the business of acting. And there are other programs out there that teach you the business of acting, but going back to that story, I said that very first time I got that check when I was in that show and I sat and cried in my car, I had no mentors when I first got into acting. None whatsoever. You always hear these stories of people have somebody, oh yeah, they took me under their wing and they showed me the ropes and all that stuff. I had nobody. So I had to learn a lot of the things that I went through by accident. And sometimes it was, a tragic accident, because there's so many things, and I look back now, that I would have changed and done differently if somebody would have sat down and said, no, look, you've got to have a vision statement. You got to have a why. You got to have a mission statement. You got to set goals. You have to do tasks. You have to have resources that you can go to. You have to have marketing. You have to have financial skills. I mean, all this stuff I had no clue, none. And it would have made a world of difference if somebody could have sat down with me either in a one-on-one situation or a workshop or something and said, okay, we're going to start on step one. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to come up with your why. I didn't even know what my why was till, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And this
what is it?
My why? Well, it changes. It changes yearly, it seems like. But my why now is, my latest why is to reach as many people in this industry, whether you're an actor, whether you're a painter, whether you're a musician, whether you're in the production end of it, to reach as many people as I can and to teach them the business of acting. That is my why. I want to reach as many people as I can so they can have a fulfilled, profitable business that they call acting. That's my goal. And right now I'm putting it into a workshop form. I probably got about 60 or 70 pages right now written of this workshop. and it'll be an all-day workshop. And then eventually